Hey guys, welcome back. Ricky here. Alright, today we are sharpening the Masamoto VG 210mm Gyotto on the Sharpened Glass 500. This stone has been cleaned from the previous session, so I'm just going to throw some water in it, get it prepped up. Okay, and then the knife is still fairly sharp. It was from a previous sharpening session, so I'll just show you guys how sharp the knife is right now, real quickly. Okay, so fairly sharp. Let's leave it there. Okay, so the stone is ready. So the beauty of this stone, or all sharpened glass stone, is they are splash and goes. So you can just throw water on them and you are ready to go. Before I do that, let me dull my knife. All right. Okay, I believe that was 20 times. Yeah. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. This is a little different sharpening session today because this is it's an asymmetrical grind. Okay, so what that means is according to the manufacturer's specs, it's a 70-30 grind. Okay, so basically 70% of the grind is on the right side of the knife and 30% of the grind is on the left side of the knife. In terms of sharpening angles, though, I really don't know what that means. All I know is, according to specs, it's not a 50-50 grind. And if you guys watch my video of the cut test with this versus the Wusthof, cutting down the butternut squash, this actually veered, I think, towards the left of the butternut squash. So it wasn't cutting straight at all. That's what you get when you have a asymmetrical grind. But in terms of day-to-day cutting performance, it's very good. It's very sharp and very thin. So today we're going to talk about sharpening the knife on the, with an asymmetrical grind. Okay, so being that this is a 30-70, I'm going to sharpen the 30% side first. Okay, so basically instead of me starting on this side, which is where I normally start, I'm going to start on the left side of the knife. Okay, so basically what that does is it allows me to just get the side that has the least amount of grind on it first, get it out of the way, and then on the right side I can focus a little more time on that. If you guys want to count strokes, you can. That gets a little confusing, because when you're sharpening your knife, you're really just trying to establish a burr, okay? And so if you do it the normal way, which I always do, just go by passes, you will establish a burr on either side, and you don't want to sharpen the knife longer than it's necessary to get that burr. So so I'm not gonna count. I'm not gonna worry too much of the counting in terms of the ratio until I get to the stropping method. Okay, so I'll talk you guys through that when we actually get there. But for now, we're just going to get this knife started, establish the burr on both sides. Once we have the burr, and then we will start the counting method, which will help you guys keep that asymmetrical grind from the factory. Okay? All right, so we're just going to hop right into it. Here we go. Okay, that's pass number one. Okay, so pass number two. Okay, so we've got a really good micro burr there. Okay, so really, I forgot to mention about the specs of this knife. This here is a VG steel, okay, so hypervanadium stainless steel, and it's heat treated to about 59. Okay, so it's getting up there towards the 60, and really good knife overall. Even though this is not a 60 on the roughness hardness scale, it's still a very, very good performing knife. Okay, all right. So now that we've established a burr on the right side, now we're going to go to the left side, and we're going to go, I think that was 2 passes, so we should go 2 passes on the right hand side as well. At least 2, maybe 3, but 2 should give us a burr, the working burr that we need to start the stropping process. Okay, that's 1. We'll go 1 more time. Okay. All right, we're good here. So we got a micro burr on this side as well, and we're perfectly good. Okay, so now the stropping. Now this is where a lot of confusion happens. Okay, so really, realistically speaking, if you guys have an asymmetrical grind knife, you don't have to do anything really different. But for those who are very particular and those who want to make sure that they keep the exact same dimensions from the factory, this is what I recommend. Okay, so on the left-hand side, this is our 30% grind, and this is our 70% grind. So what we're going to do is we're going to strop. We're going to roughly, you can go to 6:4 ratio or a 7:3 ratio if you want to. So for every 3 strokes here, so every 3 strokes you do 7 strokes. Okay, that's kind of how you kind of count. It's an easy general way to count it. So if you have the 50-50 grind, you would go 1 stroke, 1 stroke, 1 stroke, right? So basically 1-to-1 ratio. But this is a 30-70. So what we can do is we can go, you can go 3 strokes here, then you do 7 strokes over here. But however you want to count it, as long as that ratio is relatively close, you should keep that factory grind and that asymmetrical grind, okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to stroke, normally I go 12 times on the first side, and then I'll go 12 times on the second side. This is being a little different. We're going to go something like a... you can go like a 10, and then I'll do like a 15 strokes. So something as long as the ratio is close to a 70-30 as if you can. It doesn't have to be exact, but I'll do is I'll start with 10 strokes, and then I'll see how the burr is doing. Then I will kind of figure the math out from there. Okay, so with a straight edge, normally I come from this side. Okay, you can also go from heel or bottom tip to top tip. That's fine too. However you guys want to do it, it doesn't really matter too much, as long as you're pulling that burr to the apex of the edge. Okay. Okay, I think that was 10. So I'm gonna feel for the burr, see how it's doing. I'll see the burr is already rolled over. Okay, so so that basically tells me 10 is it's a good starting point. So being that it's a 30-70, let's say you double that number. So I'm gonna go 20 on this side, and you can add like another stroke if you really want to make that ratio exact. So I'll go 20 strokes on the right side. Okay, I'm not sure exactly if that was 20 or not, but that's probably close to 20. Okay, again, you feel for the burr, just see how the knife is doing. Okay, as the burr is much even finer than before. Okay, so now we can reduce that number by 2. We'll go down to 8 strokes. Okay. Now we'll reduce the other side by 8 as well. So we'll go down to 18. Okay. Again, the strokes, they're not exactly the 3 to 7 ratio. That's okay, as long as you're close. If you have time to actually sit down and calculate every single stroke, you can. I don't have that time right now. So so now we'll go down to 6 strokes on the left side, and then we'll reduce it down to the right side as well. Okay, so we'll go 16 on the right side. Okay, so now we're going to 4 strokes. Okay, now we can go down to 12 strokes. Okay, now we're going to 2 strokes. Okay, now we go down to 10 strokes. Okay, so now we'll go another 2 strokes. Okay, and the edge is starting to look really, really clean right now. Okay, so now your ratio, your sharpening ratio and your polishing ratio is pretty much close to that 30-70%. Again, it's not exact. I don't have a pen or calculator down to count the exact number of strokes needed to retain that 70-30%. But now I'm going to go 1 stroke on each side because you've done the majority of your sharpening and your polishing, stropping, with that keeping that ratio. But now, since we're getting down to that fine, that very final stroke count, we're going to go 1 on each side. Okay, so we'll go 1. Okay, and we'll just do this a few times. Okay, maintaining the exact same angle as before. Okay, and there's no exact number of strokes that you guys should do or stop at. You basically go until you feel that the edge is very clean. And now, being that this is an asymmetrical grind, you really just have to go by feel, okay? And there's, again, there's no hard signs to this. I think the edge is feeling really clean at this point. Go just a couple more. Okay. All right, so let's draw this knife off and take a look. Now again, keep in mind, most of the time you would not stop at this stone, okay? But I'm doing 1 stone at a time, as you guys know. Normally you would go to a 1,000 grit stone, and then go to your 3,000 or 6,000 grit stone at this point. But we'll see how my edge is at just 1 500 grit stone. Okay, so that's how you sharpen a roughly asymmetrical grind. Is you kind of keep a ratio of whatever you want to keep. If you want to keep the factory ratio, go with that number. All right, so let's see what we got here. Okay, not bad at all. Okay, it's getting messy in here. pretty hard cut to do. Alright, so as you guys can see here, the knife is fairly sharp, and that's just with one stone. This is the 500 grit Sharpening glass. You definitely can get a very good edge with just one stone. Okay, and that's, you know, so hopefully this tutorial was actually, this really wasn't a tutorial, it's more like just me walking through the sharpening process. But that's how you sharpen a asymmetrical grind knife. Very easy to do. You're just basically, the technique is really much the same. You're just switching up the counting a little bit. At least for me in the stropping, stropping session, not in the actual sharpening session. In the sharpening session, you simply just go with the side that has the lower ratio of the sharpening from the factory, and then you go from there. But so far, this stone feels really nice. I mean, I was actually really surprised. It felt pretty good with the Wusthof, which is heat treated to 57. It felt excellent with the Masamoto, which is heat treated to 59. And so I imagine that this stone will actually improve in terms of feel as I go up that Rockness scale. The Rockwell scale. Yeah, I've been doing too many videos and getting tongue twisted here. Alright guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please give the video a thumbs up, and if you guys can help share it, like it, and yeah, catch me in the next video. Alright, see ya.